Smart people make expensive mistakes in real estate. As an investor who's invested for several years, today I'm going to cover 4 expensive mistakes that you don't have to make. Hey friends, welcome to the Brandy Lydon Podcast. I'm your host, Brandy Lydon, and in this podcast, we're going to talk through all things real estate, wealth building, and investing. And what I really want you to do is reach your financial freedom and live your life worth living. The first expensive mistake is underestimating true cost. And what I mean by true cost, this could be whether you're flipping, whether you're buying and holding, multifamily, whatever investment that you're making, underestimating what the total cost is going to be. Beyond just the mortgage, or if you're paying cash, your cash to actually purchase the property, there's so many more expenses. So you've got insurance, you have property taxes, you have potentially property management fees, you have vacancy periods that's going to cost you and eat into your monthly expenses that you're covering for however long that your property is vacant. These are all costs that you have to bet on. You've got to put those in a spreadsheet. You've got to know, like, worst case scenario, what are your overall costs? So the mistake a lot of times ends up being people running best case scenarios in their spreadsheets. And what we want to run is a worst case scenario. Let's take, for example, you're purchasing a property that you're going to Airbnb, VRBO. So you've got a bank that's going to take a 65% vacancy. That is like, they need that as a minimum, for you to get approved. That's a worst case scenario, 65% vacancy. If you cannot rent a property 65% of the time, you need to hire somebody else to do that. Take those worst case scenarios instead of best case scenarios and run your numbers like that, and you will be better off for sure. Number 2 expensive mistake is going to be skipping the due diligence. Now, this could be skipping or not truly verifying throughout the due diligence period. What we mean by that is you do not want to skip inspections, definitely not on an investment property. You have no idea what you're getting into. You can't even really run a true spreadsheet when you have no clue what you're running up against. I mean, you could be foundation issues, you could have mold that you're combating, you could have $50,000, $100,000 worth of crazy repairs that you have no idea. So do not skip due diligence. And the other part of that is going to be like researching the actual, like in your due diligence period, researching the neighborhood, researching all the things that are going to be your after rehab value. Really doing your research on that. And that is included in due diligence. So you've got potentially like an inspection period, you've got appraisal contingency probably if you're getting a loan. So you can use all of that time to do your research, run your quotes, make sure your spreadsheet is legit, and then you could pull out if not. And then not verifying like rent and leases. So let's say that you're buying an investment that already it's an income producing property, and you're taking over a potential lease, or you're taking over something that's already producing on the short-term rental market. Not verifying these rents and leases is going to be crucial. So, I mean, you might as well just be skipping your due diligence period, because let's say they've advertised it as this property makes $130,000 a year. What are you doing to verify that? Are you asking for all of that information to prove it? If not, this could be a really costly mistake. Number 3 costly mistake is going to be over leveraging or just treating cash, just being completely blind about cash flow. So when we talk about over leveraging, you could do this by buying too many properties too quickly and not having enough buying power, not having enough approval. Let's say your intent was to buy 1 investment property in the first year, and you've gone and bought 3 or 5, and you've over leveraged yourself and not accounted for repairs and reserves and things like that. Another part of it could be like chasing appreciation instead of cash flow. And that may be, now this is going to be potentially something people may say, oh, well, if you are an investor and you've been in the game a long time and you're trying to preserve money, you might be chasing appreciation. But if you are starting your investment career or portfolio, or you're kind of midway through, chasing only appreciation is probably not where you're at. So you need cash flow. You need cash flow to build up to buy that next property. So appreciation over cash flow, don't be blind in that regard. That could be costly. The other part of that is going to be the danger in treating like your home equity as free money. We talked about in a previous episode, you could go get a HELOC on your primary home and use that as a down payment for an investment property. That's all fun and games if it's a flip that you can pay back in 90 days, 120 days. But if you do that, you use the HELOC on your primary home, you use all that equity, and then you've got interest, let's say 7%, 8% interest, and you have no plan of paying that back to yourself, that's going to be costly in the end, because that expense is essentially rolled over to this investment property and you have no plan to pay it back. Be careful if you're going to use your own equity on your primary home. That could be costly as well. Your fourth costly mistake is going to be managing with emotion instead of with a system. So what we mean by that is you're getting too personally attached to a property instead of having a system. And if the numbers don't fit, you're not buying it. It's a no. We've got to just remove emotions when we're talking about investment. A lot of people in the residential world, when you're buying a personal home, a personal, even second home, there's going to be emotions attached. This is why people act so irrationally in this world. Yet, when we are investing in real estate, it has to be calculated. It has to be with a system, and it's a hard yes or no. If the numbers don't fit, then we're not buying it. So we've really got to remove emotion. The other part of this would be like not screening tenants. So they're pulling on your heartstrings, they're having a rough time, they're needing some help, and you're like, yeah, sure, we'll sign the lease. No background check, no money down. Just remove emotions. You have to have systems. Number one, do your background check. Number two, they have to have first and last month's rent as their deposit. Just some basic things. Have a system for this. Do not let emotions run your tenants and your leases. And the other thing would be skipping the process for repair requests for these tenants. It could be like rent collection, any of the things that are involved in tenant processes. If you're just skipping all the systems, this could be costly. You have to have a way for tenants to pay directly online. It sends an auto request for a late payment, or if you've got multiple properties, you have to have a system to where you can do all of this digitally, and you're not thinking about it, and it's doing it for you, and it's automated. That could be costly as well. So remember, even if you are the most savvy business owner, the smartest human out there, we can all make mistakes. And these costly ones that we want to avoid, we want to always run numbers conservatively, not optimistic. We want to never skip out on due diligence. We want to keep reserves up so that we do not over leverage ourselves. And we want to build systems so that decisions are not managed on emotion. Do these 4 things and you can build a successful investment portfolio. So if you're ready to invest and you need a consultant to help you build a strategy and represent you in buying that investment property, link is in the description. Book your consult today. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. If you want to know more about investing, wealth building, or real estate in general, head on over to brandylydon.com and you can book a consult with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to hear more episodes like this one. See you next time.